Hello and welcome back to Unreal Engine 5 visual novel and narrative game design online course. In the last lesson we left it off with a small bug, but in this lesson we're gonna fix it. So, the first thing I kind of figured it out on my own. The first thing I forgot is to, on fade widget, on bind to animation finished, I forgot to connect here the fade in out animation. And the other one is a logical bug on focus event proceed test. I connected to true when it should have been to false. Like when it's not typing and it's not playing an animation, then show proceed. Because if it's typing or playing animation, it shouldn't show proceed. Now, there is one more thing that we need an extra script line because we are changing background, but automatically it goes to the next and tries to find a line. So we're gonna add one more line, 5, 6. It's gonna be dialog. And now compile and save and play. It should work. Blah blah. Fade in. Blah blah 2. This is line 3. This is a huge breakfast. And we're changing background. And there is no text. Wait. Oh, there is no text. This is after. I think I added a text here. I didn't press enter. Yeah, that's the thing. If you type whatever and just click away, it doesn't enter it. You have to press enter. So save. Blah blah. Blah blah 2. This is line 3. Huge breakfast. Moving on. This is okay. It works, and if I keep clicking, it just repeats this line, the last line. Great. Now, let's begin with something new. Well, a new way to deal with all this. Let's start with the yes/no question. Let's put a comment here first. Change background. So bubble. So of course you can make this however you want, right? I'm just moving them aside. So let's create a new event. Let's call it yes/no. So let's do a few things that are familiar before we start with the new widget. So actually, let's explain the system a little bit. Let me bring paint. We have paint over here. And let's try to explain this. So we have this dialog that we want to fill, but this dialog can get let's say, for example, we have A answer and B answer to the yes, no. We have the green answer, which is yes. Where is the field mechanism? Here it is. And the red answer, which is no. So which of these two will be filled? On the box here, it's gonna be decided on what the player pressed. If he pressed yes or no, this decides which of these two. Let's say our mechanism decides based on the button. Now, before these two lines, though, there is the question line, which is the important one. We need a way to figure out how to fill it. Because it is easy to get which one of these based on the buttons, but the question. So how are we gonna do this? Well, we are gonna use a very simple system. We're gonna have a branch basically with a condition and saying, is this first line or question line? If it is, then fill it with this information. If it's not, then get your answer from the button, and based on that, fill the information we need. Basically, that's the tricky part, let's say, for this setup, and I think we will see in practice because it's not exactly like this. But this is the logic. So, I'm not gonna save this. Let's start with a yes, no. So we need to fill a boolean. It's gonna be a state again. And let's name it question message. And let's set that to true. Now, since it has more than one state, because this is the question, if we are putting the question message or the answer message, we should know, we have a way to know that we are still in this loop. So I'm gonna make another boolean. Why we chose booleans? Good question. We could have used an enumeration to switch between states, but this also works. But usually more than 3, when you have more than 3 branch on your code, it's better to use a switch and an enumeration. Anyway, so I'm gonna name this yn loop and set this loop. Because while we are here, why I call it loop, when we are in the yes no part of action, our button will not continue this. When we are pressing click, this will not continue. So it will wait for us to press a button in the UI. Anyway, we'll see it on practice, on action. So now we have a yn loop set true. Let's put this on states. State. And animation is playing, should be on states too. Now we need a new counter. I'm gonna copy paste the counter, add it to counters also, and I'm gonna name it yn counter. And let's bring this counter in. I'm gonna set it to +1. And now we're gonna need to get the data table row info. We haven't made the data table yet. So let's do that. Let's go to content, blueprints, right click. Let's just copy the dialog setup because it's the same exact thing with one more small detail. I'm gonna duplicate this and yn. Actually, we don't need the test because we're gonna use the same structure for everything, doesn't matter. So yn dialog setup. Let's enter it. Here we have the name, expression, sound effects, and line. The only thing we need to add here is points. Because clicking yes or no, we're gonna need a point system. So basically the most simple system is adding some points manually. I'm gonna save, and now let's create a data table. Miscellaneous data table. I'm gonna select the yn structure, dialog setup. Okay, and let's name this dt. Here we need testing yn. Let's keep it here like this. Open it. Just moving things around. Cool. Compile and save, and let's create a new data table here. Variable of the type data table. Let's call it dt yn. and make it instance editable and expose on spawn. Now compile and save. And let's move this to data tables. Let's go to the gameplay map and select the blueprint and add the testing YN. Save the blueprint. And I think this is it for this one. We're gonna continue because we have to explain some special rules about the YN data table. Goodbye, see you on the next one.